So today let's look at another topic, and our area of focus is about wound healing. We've just done a video about inflammation where we've looked at the definition and other things. So what about wound healing? So we have to know about what is the term wound healing itself. Then what are the factors influencing wound healing, of which is a question that has repeated in most of the final qualifying exams, where you are always asked about what are the factors affecting wound healing, and you always asked to always explain. So you ought also to take a clear look at it. So for wound healing, you ought to know that's always a mechanism by which the body attempts to restore the integrity of the injured part. That means there is a part that has it's already injured. So the body tries to attempt to restore the integrity of this part. At this point, we term it as wound healing. So what are the possible factors that might influence wound healing? In other terms, we are just looking at what are the things that might make wound healing to go at a faster rate or to progress at a slower rate. So for the factors, we mainly check at the site of the wound. Where is the wound? 2, we check at the structures involved. Then 3, we take off mechanism of wounding. Then 4, we check off the type of incision. And finally, we also need to do about contamination. So we look at is there any foreign body or bacteria involved under contamination. Okay. So for the local factors, we mainly look at the vascular insufficiency. So our focus is on arterial and the venous. Then we also look at the previous radiation, that's under local factors. What about systemic factors? We look at malnutrition of vitamin and mineral deficiency. So if these deficiencies are here, then we'll be having a slow progress of the wound healing, of which we've said it mechanism by which the body attempts to restore the integrity of the injured part. Then with other like diseases like diabetes, we are looking at diabetes mellitus, which always affects how the wound heals. So if it's uncontrolled, then the progression might be bad. Then we might even go to removing the affected limb or amputation. Then also the use of medication. Steroids always lower the rate. So it always lower the progression of the wound healing. Then immune deficiency. So in case for those who are on chemotherapy or those that have acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, of which we term it as AIDS. So at this point, they're always at risk of other opportunistic infections, which might slow the rate of the wound healing. So after looking at that, let's look at the types of wounds. So we generally classify wounds under 3 things, where one is surgical, then we have traumatic wounds, then we have chronic wounds. For surgical, this is always created intentionally to attend to a pathology. Probably one has issues with the digestive system. So for we to attend to the pathology, we create a wound. We create it intentionally. So that is surgical wound. Then traumatic wounds, they're always as a result of accidental wounds. So we talk of like issues with burns, crashes, cuts, among others. What about chronic? Chronic, they always develop due to chronic conditions. For instance, we can talk of issues like pressure ulcers. We can talk of skin conditions. We can talk of abscesses, among others. Okay. So you need also to know that in other books you might find more classifications, but we mainly focus on the surgical, traumatic, and the chronic. Okay. So how does wound healing take place? So you have to know that wound healing may occur in one of the following ways. One, it can occur by primary intention. So what do we mean when you talk about the primary intention? So healing through primary intention occurs when wounds are created aseptically. Okay, so these wounds are always created aseptically. So it means the healing will occur through primary intention. So what are the conditions in healing by primary intention? So the edges of an incised wound in a healthy individuals are promptly and accurately approximated. Contamination is held to a minimum by rigid adherence to aseptic techniques. Then trauma is minimal, no tissue loss occurs. Then on completion of closure, no dead space remains to become a potential site of infection. Then drainage is minimal. So when a wound meets this condition, so it will heal by primary intention. Two, with healing by secondary intention. So these types of wound are mainly characterized by tissue loss with an inability to approximate the wound edges. So we mainly look at the tissue loss and also inability to approximate wound edges. So the wounds is from inside towards the outside surface. So in affected wounds, this process allows cleaning and dressing. Okay, that's about the secondary intention. So healing is by granulation and eventually there is scarring. So scarring occurs in secondary intention. This type of wounds include, we talk of chronic, septic, and also traumatic wounds. What about healing by tertiary intention? So it occurs when approximation of wound edges is intentionally delayed by 3 or more days after injury or surgery. So the key terms we look at the wound edges, it's intentionally delayed. Then this could be due to heavy contamination. Why is it delayed? Because of the issues of heavy contamination of the wound or the condition of the patient. So the debridement may be done, then the wound closed later. That's about by tertiary intention. What are the phases of wound healing? So under the phases of wound healing, one, we start with hemostasis. That's always the first phase. So something about hemostasis, you ought to know we are having contraction of capillaries. Why are capillaries contracting? We are trying to stop the bleeding. Two, with the inflammatory. So inflammatory is always reactive. So we're having vascular and cellular response to dispose of bacteria, foreign materials, and dead tissues. So for those that are not well versed with the inflammatory response or the process of inflammation, probably you may also attach the link of the previous lecture that we've done for you to go look at inflammation, how it occurs. So for the inflammatory phase, we're having leukocytosis, where we mainly look at the neutrophils, monocytes, and macrophages, which increase in number to fight the bacteria in the wound by phagocytosis. So in the other lecture, we've looked at how phagocytosis takes place. So this helps to remove damaged tissues and foreign bodies. So there is also an increase in platelets. That's about inflammatory phase or the reactive phase. So also vascular response takes place. Then how the damaged tissue is always glued together by strands of fibrin and a thin layer of clotted blood. And all this will always form a scab. Okay. Then plasma sweeps the surface to form a dry protective crust. This still helps to prevent fluid loss and bacterial invasion. Then the third one, we talk of the proliferative phase, which we refer to it as the regenerative. So this entails the epithelial cells migrate and proliferate to wound area, covering the surface of the wound. That's about proliferative phase. So we're having also collagen synthesis, deposits and contraction of the wound occur in this phase. Underneath the epithelial layer, granulation also occurs. Epithelialization is limited to small wounds, while large ones may require grafting. So it means if the wound is that much large, epithelialization will not take place. So we have to do wound grafting. Okay. Then the fourth phase is remodeling, also known as maturation. So the first starts, we talk of 2 to 3 weeks after the injury and may continue for years. So there is deposition of collagen fibers, breakdown of earlier deposits, as well as realignment of fibers till the scar is strongly formed. That's about the remodeling phase. So up to that point, we've done a detailed look at wound healing, where we've looked at its definition, the factors affecting. We've looked at the local and the systemic factors. For local, remember about the vascular insufficiency and previous radiation. Then we've looked at the types. We've looked at how healing occurs: primary, secondary, and tertiary intention. Okay. Then we've looked at the phases of wound healing. We've said they're always for hemostasis, inflammatory. Then we've the proliferative or regenerative, where epithelial cells start to migrate and proliferate to the wound surface, covering the surface of the wound. And finally, we've looked at remodeling phase or the maturation, how it occurs. So up to that point, we are done with wound healing. So if there's any other question, you can just post it down. Then we'll try to answer your questions. Thank you. Bye.